I just finished running my 164th day in a row, mile a day. And just by the nature of running my miles every day, my mile a day ends up being a little bit more sometimes. Just by the nature of doing that, I get to have more time working out. I get to have time with the Lord. I get to have time away from everything to process, to think, which is very important for me. Since becoming a twin dad, I've had a lot less opportunity for that, and that's not a bad thing. It's just a change, and you got to recognize change in season when they happen, right? You got to adapt and adjust. And one of the things I was thinking about today is what success actually means to me. And man, I'm glad I don't measure myself on this daily, but it is something that I actively try to do. And if I were to put it into one word, success to me means alignment. And alignment in thought, word, action to what? Not just my thoughts to words to actions, but to the person God's made me to be, the mind of Christ, what he's thinking, to the things that he would be saying, the things that he would be doing. And frankly, in the human condition that we're in, the world of brokenness we're born into, that's extremely difficult to do. And it's extremely difficult to do on your own. I think it's impossible personally to do on your own. I think you need the hand of God in your life. I think you need a strong dependence on him in a healthy way to be able to do what I'm saying, to have that kind of alignment. A lot of people, myself included, I think, the reason that they're not satisfied in their life is because they lack alignment. And there can be a healthy thing in that. It can be really healthy to be unsatisfied with your life because there's more, because that God has given you more gifts to use, or gifts that you're not using that you need to, because he's given you potential to fulfill, a call to answer, an identity to discover and to live in accordance with. Like if I'm called to be a confident voice that speaks what he wants me to speak, to break strongholds, instill security, and establish really in people's identity things that they had missing or broken from their past as they're having their awakening. And if I'm called to be that person that helps them get launched into whatever it is that God is launching somebody into in that next season, but I'm not doing that, there's going to be something inside of me that feels like it's either broken, missing, not working, like it's longing for a part of me that I'm just not seeing. And that's unhealthy dissatisfaction, in my opinion. And there have been many times in my life, many times when I've had, frankly, just when I've been dissatisfied. But for me, I think it's important to distinguish between what's healthy and what's not healthy when it comes to being satisfied. And that the Lord really, he provides and provokes. He provides hunger, provokes that dissatisfaction, and then really gives us the choice and empowers us to make the choice to both, to change our circumstances, to change our thinking, to change our speech, to change our behavior, whatever that change may be for you. So if you're in a place in life where you're like truly just dissatisfied, I'm gonna challenge you to say, hey, like, is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? And I think there's times when that's okay, when that's actually healthy and God's calling you higher. Me personally, I'm in a time in my life where I've had many of those moments. And so it's a little easier, I think, for me to recognize them when they happen. And I've also just done a lot of the basics where I have built a strong foundation of capacity to be able to withstand a lot of the discomfort that comes from growing, from being challenged to change. I do get weary, I do get tired, And the thing that I've been hearing the Lord say over and over again for the last year for me is just do not grow weary. Do not grow weary of doing good. Do not grow weary in what I've called you to. And I think there's times where I'm just like, Lord, I'm so toast. Because yeah, you empower me, but I gotta like do the thing. And it gets tiring sometimes. But I guess my message to you is recognize that dissatisfaction. It can be healthy, and don't grow weary. Don't grow weary of doing good. If you know that you're in your life and you're just like, I'm trying to figure out like the root of my dissatisfaction, I'll tell you the root, it starts in your mind. There is something specific that God wants to highlight to help you see. There are strongholds you might need to have broken to be free. There might be some purpose, some direction, some new season or chapter that he wants you to be stepping into, and you might need a little bit of reflection to kind of understand what's going on and how to take steps in that new direction. But don't let it sit there and fester. Don't let it get you down for too long. It's okay to be down, but don't stay down. The righteous may fall 7 times and get back up again. The wicked fall once and stay down. And I believe that you're going to get back up again if you're in that time where you're like, man, feel like I got knocked down. I believe you're going to get back up again. So take that signal of dissatisfaction as motivation and seek guidance from people who've been on that journey. That's been tremendously helpful to me. I set a post out earlier talking about how one of the best things I've ever done for my life, one of the best things, is invested in myself. And what I mean by that is not like this whole self thing. I mean like people who know the Lord and understand the body, help me learn how it functions properly, who help me understand the mind and how to be renewed in my mind, to help me understand my past and how to find healing and wholeness. I mean, there's so many things that encompasses. It's not just education and self-discovery, although that's important. But I would just say, double down on your commitment to continue growing into the person God's made you to be. Let that dissatisfaction be a motivation. And start with small things, small and consistent things. My mile a day, how I started this whole video, such a good example. It's been so helpful to me for more than one reason, but my mind primarily. Like I said, it's been 164 days now of running a mile a day, and I mean the ripple effects are amazing. But small, consistent things, stay committed, get guidance, raise your hand, invest in yourself, use that dissatisfaction to launch you into the next season.